Hey, it's Cathy Johnson, and we're here for Yes, I Can Living, the podcast for and about entrepreneurial women. We're talking business with a dash of life, love, health, wealth, and faith. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Yes, I Can Living. I am your host, Cathy Johnson, and super excited to be sharing the next 20 or 30 minutes with you, along with my good friend, Pam Benson-Owens. Pam, welcome so much to today's session. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Been waiting to get here, so I'm so excited to see you and be able to have a conversation today.
Absolutely. And that's what it is. I just want people to think of this as like two old friends having a conversation about faith and how it's made an impact in their businesses, in their lives, in this season of what we're all going through. So let's take a minute and have you take us back to what would be a defining season in your journey that really shaped you as the leader and the business owner that you are today.
That's a deep question. I love that question, but I think the best way to answer that is to name the point in which I was in my business and realized that I was having too many situations where I would leave a client, a for-profit client, and feel almost fraudulent. And it took me a while to get there, like, what is it? And what I realized was a lot of the work that I was doing in consulting was great, and at the baseline it was great, but a lot of it, I had to leave my faith in the car. And so I always felt like I was explaining to them, like, here's your business plan. Good luck with that. Or here is how you really remain sustainable in the space, connecting with your customer base, and then the rest of it, good luck with that. And so it was a really scary and defining moment for me to realize I don't like how I'm showing up in the space because I'm not telling them the whole story. That I come into the space with faith, I just didn't name it. The way in which I was consulting them had a lot to do with my faith and my walk. I didn't say that because it wasn't permittable in those spaces. So I made a conscious decision. It's been about 9 years now to say I really can only be in those spaces where I can say those things and it not be a barrier. So that was a defining moment for me as a leader. And whether you call it faith or you call it a spiritual realm or you call it whatever it is for you, anybody that works with me now knows that that's part of it. And that I allow them to define it for themselves, but I believe that is a missing connective tissue for entrepreneurs. And so I no longer leave it off my narrative. And have I lost some clients? I have. But have I gained the right ones where there's core value alignment? Yes. And that is such a more powerful journey in that space.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, you've known me for a lot of years, and as I've been on this faith-fueled journey of my own, right, and not really bringing that faith piece out. I mean, a little bit here and there, and if I was on with, coaching with a client and that kind of went in that direction, I would bring it out. But that fear of actually speaking about it, right, but the important thing about it being really that, being a core value, but then also being a core piece of that foundation and how we are building our business, how we are leading our lives, how we're leading others, right? And when we don't bring that in, it can just completely shift everything. Absolutely. And I hear you, losing people. But so what is it really like for you to trust God in business? Because we're all... people say, well, we can't bring faith into business and we can't bring God into business. And I completely disagree. I think there's strategy in scripture. I think there is prayer before planning. I think God has to be in the details. But when you're looking at numbers and you're looking at timing and you're looking for certain outcomes and things aren't happening the way that you think they should be or that you want them to be, how do you really trust God in those moments in your business?
Oh my gosh. So what I would say is when I made the conscious decision to say, hey, faith and God has to be part of my business plan, like overall, every KPI, every goal, every strategy, meaning I definitely think that there is not enough discussion about how when you are in that space and you are grounded in your faith, how the creativity flourishes in a different way. So whenever I'm planning for the year, which I just got through doing for this next year, I finished in about October. Once I came up with those strategies, then it becomes really an opportunity. And in my case, I don't want to scare people, but I did a fast and praying period where I was like, I'm going to fast and pray over this business plan. And anything that is not supposed to be in here, God, make it plain and reveal it. hey, if this is not supposed to happen, reveal it. And so I have trust in that process. But sometimes in that space, something will be left there to test my alignment. So I've already, in the first couple of weeks of the year, had a couple of KPIs, a couple of key performance indicators, and a couple of goals that were stretch goals. That I've already had some clarifying conversation around. If that is not the goal I'm supposed to have, make it plain. And it being, you are doing that goal out of ego. You're doing that goal to be seen. And it's been gone. Well, that goal was going to be a direct goal to my business checking account. And was probably going to make life a little easier. But I've removed it. So it's both and. It's like, you got to have the willingness to center that into the space. Like, I don't walk into a Fortune 500 company and say, I've been praying and fasting over my business plan for you. I don't do that, obviously. But I definitely center it here in my space around, if it's not supposed to be there, remove it. Right? If it's not supposed to be, if some of my stretch goals seem egocentric, tell me, guide me, give me a sign, help me discern. And so I've already had a couple of those this year, and in the past it would have really bothered me because I'm like, oh my gosh, the money. No, oh my gosh, alignment, faith-centered, non-reactive. And I really have to tell you, my faith relationship is has a perfect score. God for me has been a perfect performing score. So I try not to get anxious about what hasn't happened, and lean into a reframing around that must not be for me, and or realign it, or there must be a reason why that goal hasn't come forward. Because what we think is we're going to effort our way, white knuckle our way to the goal, to the money, to the whatever. And that's arrogant. That's not how that works. So it's given me all kinds of opportunities to depend on my faith and then leave it alone.
And I think that can be so hard, right? I mean, we think sometimes I say to clients, we can't just wish and pray. We have to do the steps, right? We have to actually take the forward momentum and do the part that we have to do. But also having that quiet and that discernment and understanding, like, yeah, I love the fact that you were talking about, what is that goal really? Is it about my ego? Or is it about, what God is calling you into or stepping into? And you work, you're entrepreneurial, but you also do a lot with corporate. So, kind of figuring those lines, and it can be hard, I imagine, especially with...
All the time.
Right?
Yeah, but also, I want to just be clear as we're getting ready to go into faith-fueled season, can't wait. I want to be clear that prayer and hope are not strategies.
There you go.
They're tools. They're tools. Yeah. So when people say to me, I prayed about it, it didn't come, I'm like, well, did you meet it halfway? What was the output? Did you go to the coffee and make the pitch? Or, so I'm real clear on that. Like, it's not even, I used to say, well, prayer is a strategy. It's actually not, it's a tool. It is a catalyst to bring you forward in your talents, in your gifts, in your graces. So I'm not sitting in my office praying over a strategic plan and being like, okay, drop it when you're ready. That's not even how that works. And I have to be real clear about that because I coach people. And so I let me be clear. It's a both and. It's not an either or. And so you have to do your part too. And so when we start talking about like the fruit of the spirit, discipline, like it's not just hope, love, Skittles, and unicorns, baby. It is discipline. It is discernment. It is heeding to wisdom, consistency. Like it's all these other things that are the less fun ones that don't feel as flowery that are critical to your success.
Yeah, I love that. It's not unicorns and candy canes for sure. So, at Faith Fueled, you are one of the speakers, and your message is all about, I know, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Truly, I cannot wait to get the women in the room with all of us and just, this is like such a different a different type of event than I've ever done before. This isn't, four of us preaching to you from the stage. This is about bringing all of the attendees and the participants into community in how we're having these discussions, right? I'm just so excited. But anyway, you are one of the speakers, and your topic is, all about closed doors, faith-fueled and closed doors, and empowering women in that. And you teach that closed doors can actually be protection, redirection, and preparation. So can you share a simple way that a woman might be able to begin to reframe some of that disappointment instead of internalizing things like that as a failure? It didn't work, or, it's not happening as fast as I want, or whatever. And we forget until maybe later on, right, when we see what the outcome is, that it was actually protection, or God was actually redirection. But can you just share a simple way that women can begin to reframe some of those thoughts?
Yes, I can. And let me just say that if you are sitting in this space listening to this right now about going to Faith Fueled or not, investing in that or not, coming or not, let me just short order you that a lot of what we're talking about right now will be expanded on there. Because there's not going to be enough time in this conversation, obviously, but also the gift of the fact that if you're ever wondering, like, what does it look like when Cathy is sitting on a couch with women talking, like, that's it. Like, I have the deep, deep, deep honor of getting to do that with you because we are friends and colleagues. But what I love about what's about to happen is, like, you're opening that up to all women. And so I just want to, I feel like I need to say that. I'm compelled to say, it's not the time to second guess. You need to be in the room that day. Having said that, closed doors. I have been on a journey forever where I thought the closed door was something that made me have to, like, fight and go after it and put more effort into it. And if you just double down on it. And I have now realized how deeply wrong that approach has been. Women are conditioned that if we just put a little more effort, it'll change. If we just throw more body weight into it, it'll okay. If we just keep on going. Sometimes that's not the case. The closed door is a protection that is not what you're supposed to be doing, or it's redirection. You are playing yourself too small, and so you're putting effort into a space that is not big enough for you. Or it could be a situation where it's an opportunity for you to reset, and that reset could be what you thought it was. That's not it at all. And really, the closed door is to make sure that you don't keep trying to force your way into something that's not for you, right? In our world of faith, the doors are always going to be open in a way that you won't have to second guess yourself. And so if it closes, stop second guessing it. It's not your door, right? And failure should not be attached to that. Doubt should not be attached to that. Feeling bad about yourself should not be attached to that. It's taken me a very long time to figure that out. I used to be the one to be like, that door's closed. No way, because I'm also an activist. So I'm like, women, unite. Women, no. Walk away. Not your door. As a matter of fact, in every situation where I've when I've learned this, the door that opens feels effortless, feels powerful. Mm-hmm. I don't have to phone it in. I don't have to bring somebody other than myself. The women that are supposed to be around me align and get information around me as a powerful circle. I don't have to worry about the woman next to me being competitive or undercutting me when I go through that right door. And so closed doors are glorious and amazing. And if you've just experienced one, you should be celebrating. Get a cupcake and celebrate the closed door, and celebrate yourself for not trying to open it back up. Yeah. Even more powerful. So I have just really embraced the closed door as protection and redirection in powerful ways. And every time that I have stopped the energy of trying to keep it open, what comes forward is tenfold. Better for me, more aligned. The women that need to be around me come. The dollars flow in a different way. And I don't feel burned up and burned out by forcing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that square peg in a round hole is what I'm thinking. I mean, it's because we do, right? We tend to think we need to keep going and we need to keep pushing. And I think sometimes closed doors show up in, literally a closed opportunity or the end of a relationship, or, I mean, there's whatever, right? There are so many different ways that doors close. And I think we as women are not sure that if that's failure, if it's not working, or what do I need to do. But let me ask you this. How do you know the difference between a door that's truly closed versus one that simply requires patience? Because I'm all about no grass growing under my feet, right? And so I'm go, and I'm going to try this and I'm going to try that. Maybe I need to try this differently. And there may be other people listening too, thinking, okay, I just need to shift slightly, or I need to... How would you suggest others actually discern whether it's a closed door or whether it's God saying, you just need to wait on my timing?
Oh my gosh, I love that. First of all, cannot underestimate the power of having good women around you, because you need to be able to have a wise counsel of a personal board of directors. And I can speak about this. I've had to come to Cathy and be like, Cathy, here's what it is. And you'll be like, hey, let me think about it. Let me pray about it. Yeah, that's closed. Like, it's closed. Move on, right? So there's the first piece. But really the way I discern that in my own space is if the door is closing because there is something else for me to learn. So when the door closes at first, I'll be like, God, what will you have me learn from this? Right? And sometimes it's, you need to learn patience. You need to learn to trust yourself. You need to learn that you are not a collaborative act on this one. You're a solo act, and that's okay. That you're enough. Great. And I stop and wait for that. The slammed door that I'm not supposed to open again is, baby, we've been here before. I have seen a boat. I've seen a hovercraft. I've seen a ship. I've seen a train and a car. I've seen Cathy. I've seen Michelle. Heck, I've seen Mark. And you are still... I have sent the whole team, and you know this lesson. Sometimes we actually ask ourselves our own rhetorical question. Should I continue in that partnership? Should I continue in that? You know the answer. You're pretending not to know because you don't want to have to usher in the courage it takes to keep it closed. And so that's a distinction. Sometimes it's, God, what will you have me learn from this? Oh, it was just a rewrap. That's not a shut door. That's a temporary shut door. You're in the hallway rebooting. But a real shut door is, I've been here before. Mm-hmm. It doesn't hurt any less. I'm shrinking myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to retrofit myself into something that's not for me. Right? It feels redundant and painful. Oh my gosh, that pit in my stomach, it's back. That's when you know the door is shut. And if you reopen it, harm is coming.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, you touched on that sentence, what are you pretending not to know? Which was a huge one for me and in my life, and realizing my marriage was over and, what I was doing and everything. But I think that's so, the idea that it keeps coming around, right? The pain, the pit, all of that, right? It just, keeps coming around to know that, that is a shut door. I loved a slam door. A slam door. Right? Yeah. Right. And we can't move forward. I mean, unless we're willing to let that door stay closed, we're going to stay stuck.
Right. But let me just add this, because this is what you really helped me with too. We sometimes don't want to admit the slam door or the door that's shut because we are conditioned to be polite and not messy and clutch our pearls. And so, shutting a door, whether we have to do it alongside God and co-conspiratorship or whatever, it's not always polite and cute and ladylike. So we will actually keep a door ajar that's killing us. Right? Because it's not polite and it's not kind and whatever. Well, clear is kind, and sometimes Brene Brown, sometimes the clarity around it's a shut door is kind to us. It's self-compassion for us. It's God saying, I've already sent that lesson for you.
Yeah.
You keep having to relearn it. So that piece is important too. We're conditioned to not be okay with it because we've attached it to not being polite and it's not ladylike. Well, I will say to you that The closed door and the acknowledgement of it is empowering and a different kind of womanhood. Mm-hmm. When you can take ownership of it and say, I cannot open that door again because of what it will do. Yeah. That's real power. That's real empowerment. That's real faith. That's real trusting God.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, I'm all about alignment over hustle. The hustle culture, hustle and grind is, I'm not saying you don't have to do the work, but I am saying the hustle culture is gone. And it's really all about being aligned with who you truly are, who you authentically are, where you're called, where God is calling you, whatever. My question for you is, how do you protect your faith, your values, your peace, while still going after those big goals and growth, right? It's not the hustle, it's what is it for you?
I sit there every day. That's what I wake up to. And I have realized that it requires to be able to sit in that paradox, which is what it is, right? I have to make sure that I am aligned, that I am still, that I am in a good place. So for me, I've had to implement ritual. So like I have a ritual in the morning that is absolutely non-negotiable. I don't care what's happening. I don't care where I am in the world. I did it in Uganda. I did it in Italy. I did it in Russia. My morning time to center myself in a devotional space where it's just me and God, critical. So that whatever comes my way that falls in that paradox where I'm managing my faith up against a big plan or a proposal to a big company never gets out of line. I never want to wake up where I don't recognize myself. And I never want to wake up in a space where I resemble a lot of the backbiting and pettiness and hate that is given in this world. And so at the end of the day, the way I make sure that I can look myself in the mirror at night, where I can balance both my faith and my walk with my business imperatives, because I'm not, please know, Cathy, I'm all about we're going to eat and we're going to eat well and everybody's going to get paid. To be able to balance those, I've had to really implement some rituals, and I've had to really do a really serious look at who I let be around me, and I have to do a really serious look at how I spend my time. And I know that I am not popular in a lot of spaces because it's a absolutely radical look at my yeses and my nos, which is exactly what your teaching has been for me. My pivot on that was your teaching. Right? Is what does that look like? What does the yes look like and what does the no look like? And the longer I practice that by way of ritual, it doesn't require explanation anymore. It doesn't require feeling bad anymore. It doesn't require long sentences anymore. And when I remove that, the scaffolding around my yes holds beautifully. If it doesn't answer these things, and as long as it doesn't hit one of my couple non-negotiables, I can hold both of those. It used to be hot potatoes, like, oh my gosh, and now it's this beautiful merging and commingling of the very best of my faith with the very best of my skill set. And I don't have a lot of residue anymore. I just don't.
Yeah. Strategic yeses, abundant no's, actually radical yeses. Or radical no's. I mean, that's the right. I mean, I think as women too, we hesitate saying the no for a variety of reasons, and until we can really get clear on what those are and aligned with who we are and what our values are and where we want to go and where God's calling us, makes a big difference. Do you have that?
Let me say this is important. When I started working with you, I will tell you this, that it is very easy in the work that you've done and the curriculum you've built and the programming you've built to be all in on the yes. So the first half of your work, your teachings for me, stuck. Okay, yes, I can do that. And then I got out in the middle of the lake and I'm like, whoa.
Hey, were you listening to that podcast? Because Pam and I were having a great old time. But you know what? Technology happened and I lost the rest of the podcast. And rather than recording the last little bit of it, we decided that we would just tack this on here. If you want to connect with Pam and hear more about what she has to say and share, come to the Faith Fueled Live event. It's February 27th of 2026. You can get all the details at faithfueledevent.com. You can also connect with Pam on Instagram at Pamela Benson-Owens. Check the show notes for all the contact information. I'm so sorry that we lost her final thoughts because it was such great stuff. But if you come connect with her in person, you will absolutely get even more than what you bargained for. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening to Yes, I Can Living. If today's episode spoke to you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. And if you're craving deeper connection and real conversation, I'd love to invite you to the table, our community of faith-fueled women building businesses and lives they love. Go to yesicanliving.com and click on The Table. See you there.